Alrighty then, here we go. Buildgrid.com here, playtesting Modern for the upcoming Modern Champs in our area. Here you see my pet deck for now, Abzan Fauna, basically podless Abzan, and playing against black-white tokens. So yeah, taking hands, starting 7. His hand is pretty decent. Oh, mine was average, not super spectacular, but yeah, I think it just had a one lander or something, just clunky slow drops in there. Don't remember exactly, so I'm mulligan dead hands, going down to 6. Plus I feel like I was on the draw in that game. No, I was on the play, and I kept pretty fast hand with Fauna Shaman in it, as I remember. So he goes, Windbreeze hides, hide away the card, passes the turn. So I draw for the turn, and I had few decisions to make. Now I go just down to 19, fetch for a swamp. Which was probably a mistake, and because we're testing, I quickly changed my decision. So I decided to basically bolt myself, get a Shocklands, Godly Shrine, because I quickly realized that, yeah, this early I'd rather have enough mana to cast everything, and the swamp wouldn't let me cast a bird and voice resurgence the same turn. So yeah, sequencing the fetches and the lands is pretty important for that deck. Way less tricky than for black-white tokens. Not only because it's only a 2-color deck, but because the mana requirements are not super ridiculous in there. Although he still needs to take care of which way he plays his lands, because he has a Spectral Procession in the deck, which requires him a triple white on board in order to cast it on the 3rd turn. So yeah, he just went main phase, raised the alarm so that I wouldn't get an elemental token. And then I just hit Gavany Township, which means that I can probably raise way better than he does. Anyhow, so being on the play plus some mana dorks really helps in this matchup. Even though that's kind of exposes me to his main deck Zealous Persecutions, so basically minus my team. But now it doesn't really work because my guys will be 2 toughness, although he can activate it in response, but he decided just to go big for Monastery Mentor. So basically if I let him untap next turn, that means he could get so much value out of it. Well, not super much, but I probably want to get rid of it as soon as possible. So end the turn I just pumped my team with Gavany Township because he tapped out, so that was safe. I don't know if I would do that if he would just pass the turn with untapped mana. I'm not sure if I was able to afford to play around Persecution there. Right, and then I got a Corridor Quelling in hand, and I'm thinking whether it's better to just to attack or get rid of his mentor, because I'm already having a good board position and I don't get my creatures killed through Persecution because they're already bigger. So yeah, I decide to go for Corridor Quelling for 4, get Murderous Red Cap, 2 damage to mentor, so kill it before it gets out of hands, because if I let him untap, he could probably play like another Raise the Alarm and Thoughtseize and get 2 monk tokens, so that seemed like too dangerous. So now we're Windbrisk Heights, and as he later told me, that game he had pretty good spells underneath both of those to be exact. Yeah, now he cannot really attack because he would probably need to block next turn, so he's in a very bad position here. So yeah, he decides to go for another Mentor, so prepare to take a huge amount of damage next turn and try to somehow get back into the game by changing spells with the Mentor. But I feel like he's probably just trying to postpone his death in this game. So I just go Abrupt Decay for the Mentor to make my life much easier. I cannot really activate Township the same turn because I didn't draw another land. But then, yeah, just going into an offensive, no reason to expose my noble to his pair of tokens. Don't want to make that kind of trade. So yeah, he takes Gazillion, then I just play Spellskite. That means he can't really get rid of my voice or like any of my creatures effectively. Yeah, he goes for the Virtue, so which gives his guys +1/1 and Vigilance. No reason for him not to attack there, because I just have a 0/4 and 1/2 noble in here, so he attacks. I don't want to chump with my noble, taking 2, so just block 1 with the Spellskite here, but yeah, that still doesn't spell that great for him. Oops. Yeah, I flipped like a top card accidentally, which was pretty bad news for him because that was Eternal Witness, so I just need to be careful the way I tap my money here. Yeah, then just play Witness, get back Abrupt Decay, cast it, snatching away his Intangible Virtue, so now his guys cannot really kill any of mine. So yeah, attack with the remaining team, so that is Voice Redcap and the Bird. And Bird and Voice have each one counter from the previous activation of the Township. So yeah, he pretty much needs to probably block something here. That's my guess. Otherwise he's taking 6, going to 5, which is terrible. At this point, like, I was so excited with this that I kind of confused him a little bit. Of course, Noble wasn't really attacking, and that was not supposed to happen, so the Bird was actually attacking. But yeah, we kind of were, yeah. I don't know what happened here. I think we both kind of brain farted, and he was too excited to get rid of some of my guys with Virtue. So yeah, the trade with the Noble shouldn't happen, but I was so far ahead in this game that even this persecution didn't quite matter. So I get an elemental out of the Voice, which died, but then I forgot the trigger from the actual persecution, so I would have had 2 X-Axes in play if I would remember, even though we were testing. But he decided that, like, no, you better remember that kind of stuff next time at the real tournaments and not during just play testing. So he draws for the turn. Nothing spectacular here. He still has 1 token, which doesn't do a whole lot. I don't know how this whole turn happens. Okay, he has the Spectral Possession here, making a bunch of spirits here, but that just doesn't matter with the active Township. I'm still ahead. and he's at 10, although I'm at 15, but he's at 10, so yeah, I can afford to raise, and these guys are just wins. But then again, I drew like insane top deck, which was another Corridor Calling, so I cast it for free, get Orzhov Pontiff from my deck into play, nuke his team, yep, so minus one his whole team, attack for free, no, for 7 more, so putting him down to 3, because the voice token is a 5/5 here. Yep. Now almost all of my creatures are little damage. Yeah, he thought that like instead of playing Spectre Possession, he should have played Talhalla Scholar, taking something from my hand maybe, or just having a good guy in play and then playing Tangible Virtue. So instead he went for the Procession. But yeah, like that Corridor Calling was a top deck, and that was a very sick top deck at that spot. So yeah, then we move on to game 2. Sideboarding. I have a ton of cards that I want to sideboard. As you would see in a moment, it was like 10 cards or something like that. Really paranoid sideboard, but all of them were really good against him. So my plan was just take in a bunch of removal and hate against him and some live game spells like Timely Reinforcements, and just take out some of my combos or some of the clunky cards, which were too slow for this matchup. As I remember, he didn't have actually a whole lot to bring in against me, so my bargain is much better against him. Plus I feel like I'm a much better like creature deck, I feel like, and I have way more tricks than he does. He has some disruption with the Forces or Inquisition, Died Hollow, some Path to Exiles, Persecution to net my team. So I bring in like gazillion amount of hate, Maelstrom Pulse, which is good against all those tokens. Calgary Charm kills enchantments, the pump enchantments or Nabsky's team. Sync Collector takes care of his token producers. Some of the heat gives me extra information, extra 1 mana discard in form of Duress. Second Scavenging Ooze to exile his Lingering Souls and have a live gain machine, which he needs to deal with. So he just brings in like 3 Rest in Pieces, which are actually not that great because I can play around that, and I'm not a very dedicated graveyard deck. It's only the combo, and it's not an instant speed card, so that I think was a mistake on his side to bring those in. Those are just not really good, because I can just produce a bunch of guys and then pump them with Gavany. So I brought in like 2 timely reinforcements, which are actually very great here. Produces blockers or attackers for his guys, gains me 6/5, and if I go like Mana Dark and he goes like Raise the Alarm, and then I cast timely reinforcements, and then it's just insane value if I play it like really early. And Tomb Exarch, so both modes are pretty good. Return back like a Pontiff from my graveyard to hand, or nab something from his hand, 1 Fractast for life gain. Fracturing Gust is awesome here as well. And then I took out all the discard spells, 1 Spellskite, which doesn't do anything here really. Took out 3 Voices, and then my options were probably to take out either the Wall or Melira, because I don't really need the combo here. I still kept in the Archangel plus Spike Feeder combo in here, and Wolverine makes chords really nice, but I needed to take out like a huge amount of cards here, and I was playing like 61 cards in the deck, so I could have taken one more card just to have better draws. So I took out both Wall of Roots and Elira. Most of the tokens that he has, which I really care about, are flying. Anyways, Lingering Souls tokens, Spectral Procession tokens, stuff like that. I really don't care that much about his ground tokens, which do still matter, but I feel like Will of Roots is just such a terrible top deck. I'd rather top deck like a Bird of Paradise or something like that, just to have a flying chump blocker in case I really need to. So I'm not really afraid of his ground tokens as long as I can kill the pump effects, the pump enchantments. So there we go. So game 2, he starts, goes land into Inquisition. I have a very awkward hand here. I have just one township and green-white fetch land. He cannot take the Murderous Rat Cap with the Inquisition, of course. And then I have like Golgari Charm, Abrupt Decay, Pontiff, and Sin Collector, all of which are good cards. So basically I just needed to top deck in this game any colorless mana source, and then my whole hand turns online, and then again I'm on the draw here. So keeping that hand was, I think, perfectly fine. My mana base is pretty good here, so almost any lands, well, pretty much with the fetch lands, pretty much top decking any lands makes me happy here. Even the forest or a swamp, because I have those Golgari Charms and Decay. So play the fetch land because I'm not fetching yet. Of course, no, there is no reason to. I don't know yet which Shockland I need. I did that end the turn so that I wouldn't take too much damage, and the way my hand was configured, Overgrown Tome seemed like okay choice. Yeah, as you can see, he does have the Raise Alarm here. I just top decked the Fauna Shaman, which normally would have been fine, but I'm a bit choked on green mana, so I cannot do a whole lot here. And then next turn, after he played Raise the Alarm at the end of my turn, so he just plays another land and casts Intangible Virtue. So he thinks for a little. He had the option of casting Monastery Mentor that turn, but I guess he was afraid of me drawing the land and then decaying the Mentor, and this was a much better tempo play. So I really had to kind of jump with the Fauna. I wouldn't be able to really effectively use it, so I ended up taking 2, trading with just 1 token, which wasn't spectacular, but all I needed was to just stay alive as long as possible until I draw my lands. I just drew another Fauna Shaman. That was pretty bad, but I'm not under a ton of pressure, but I don't know what's gonna happen next. So he shocks himself, that's a bad sign for me. Then he goes like Mentor into pathing my Fauna, which is a kind of a strange play, trying to fix my mana, but I would really need to kill his Mentor, something like that. Otherwise, next turn with heights and everything, he has so much of board presence here. Yeah, well, nothing I can do about the path here. I just end up taking the forest because I have the Golgari Charm and the Abrupt Decay in my hand. Then he just attacks for 2 with the token. I'm already down to 15. Yeah. then I pretty much have to decay the mentor. I cannot afford to give him the chance to untap with it and cast a bunch of spells and get so far ahead. This gives me at least some hope, and he gets like second intangible virtue, prowess trigger, so attacking for 7, I think, putting it down to 8. Something like a Maelstrom Pulse off the top would have been good, taking away both virtues or things like that. But I have only like Golgari Charm, which cannot really kill his guys, only kills one of his enchantments, and they probably still die. Yeah, I thought for a second like what my options could be, but because I didn't really have white mana, and he had more action in the form of another Zealous, make more guys. So now, like, it doesn't matter what I do, I still die. Yeah, I quickly explained that to him. Like, if only I would draw those lands. I did draw like Noble Hierarch, but it was a bit too late. If I would have drawn it like in the first 2 turns, then I was probably still in the game. I would be able like to cast my spells and stuff like that. But yeah, he had too much for me to deal with. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave your comments below. Please visit the website. We've made a lot of content about the Dragons of Tarkir in our blog. Okay, bye.